guys, what is going on? This is Humble Bumble, your friendly beast gamer, and I'm going to be doing another Bumble Breaks It Down, and it will be another board game. Why? Because this was too good to pass up. No lie, I was at the flea market for the first time in I think almost 2 years, and there was a board game there. A board game that I've been looking for a while. I'm realizing that my hair is crazy. I do apologize. It's a board game that, on par with Settlers of Catan, is something that I've been looking for. Hat mode successful. It's a game that I've been looking for a while. It normally goes for about $30, maybe $40, depending on where you look. I saw this played on Table Flip, and then I saw it being played on Geek and Sundry. And this was the apple of my eye, and I was lucky to get it for what I did. I'm not going to say what it was. Maybe you have to turn and do another video to find out. But I'm going to break it down for you. A board game. Now, if anyone who watched the Catan video, however you want to pronounce it, got a little lost, this will be a little bit easier. And I'm going to be appeasing to all of you huge kaiju fans, because this, of course, is King of Tokyo. The whole premise of this, you choose a big monster of a monster, and you basically kill all the other monsters. So, let's break it down and see how to play, and I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll want to check it out for yourself. Alright, so here we go. I took the lid off the box. These are the instructions. We'll get to the rules in another bit, but this is your layout. Very simple. This is your board. That's it. Not overly complicated, not difficult by any means. Pretty simple stuff. There's only 2 places you can go. This right here is if you're playing for more than 4 people, but otherwise, Tokyo City is where all the action is going to be happening at. Put that to the side. Here are the special power-up cards you're going to be using throughout the game that have all kinds of varying effects. We'll get into those in just a minute. But I'd say a pretty lengthy deck, at least 60 cards, if not more. Right here are the creatures you get to play. Now, some of these were... Now, they're not going to flat out say Godzilla, Gamera, all those, but use your imagination. We have the Alienoid. We have, just straight up, the Kraken. The King, give you a guess as to what that guy is. Gigazor, again, draw your own conclusions. Mecha Dragon, which is probably one of my favorites. And for all the women out there, we got Cyber Bunny. Yeah! So, 6 creatures. Here are the little actual creatures themselves you're going to have on the board. And then right here are the stands that they go on. Right here, this bag of little plastic gem things, these are energy. You get these when you're doing your dice rolls. These main black 6 and these main 6 right here, these are your primary die you're going to be rolling every single round. These are extra die you get based on these special cards right here. Some of them do offer you an option to roll extra die. So pretty easy, straightforward stuff here. Nothing too complex. I promise you this is about as easy of a board game as you're going to get. You know, and then we're talking about chutes and ladders and things like that. But I promise you, this is so easy, even a guy like me could do it. So, let's get this set up a little bit, and we'll go over the rules. Alright, now this is pretty much the basic setup that's going to have here. Also, we're going to need our cards. Let's hope these don't fall down and create a huge mess like they just did. So, this is going to be your character for the game. You're going to start every game at 10 life and 0 victory points. The aim of the game is to be the first person to get to 20 victory points or be the last kaiju standing. So, the start of every game, we make sure that everyone's at 10 health, no victory points. Everybody starts outside of Tokyo. So basically on the outside. We have our cards here. I'm just going to move that aside. The rules say to give him a good shuffle. I'm going to do that right now. Behold my amazing shuffling skills. I can't bridge these cards that well. They're a little more rigid. And it says to take the top 3 cards and flip them, and those are the cards those are the bonus cards you're going to start the game with. So right away, let's make some room here because we don't have much to work with. We have Made in a Lab, Monster Batteries, and Frenzy. These numbers in the top left corner are the amount of energy you need in order to purchase these cards. Like, this card says, when you purchase this card, take another turn immediately after this one. So you have to pay 7 energy in order to have a whole brand new turn. And then you get cards that say the word keep right there, which means that you hold on to them. This, for instance, says, when you purchase monster batteries, put as many energy as you want on it from your reserve. Match this from the bank at the start of each turn and take 2 energy off and add them to your reserve. When there is no energy left, discard this card. So this is basically a way to just get more energy to hold on to. Your energy reserves, they hold up. They don't replenish every single turn. But basically, how it works is you draw 3 cards to start the game, and whenever someone purchases a card, they simply take it or discard it, whatever they say, and you just draw another one. And it stays on the field until someone else picks that up. So that's done. Now, how it works is this. As long, move these over here, as long as your creature is outside of Tokyo, okay, he cannot earn victory points when he starts his turn, okay? In order to earn victory points, you have to be able to move into Tokyo City on your next turn. That's if it's unoccupied. If you're playing with more than 4 people, you have the option of being in either Tokyo Bay or Tokyo City. If you start in Tokyo City, you start the turn with 2 victory points, and I believe moving into it for the first time, you get a victory point. So let's say, on my turn, I choose to move into Tokyo City. I now roll these beautiful die. And just for the sake of room, because I have none here, I'm just going to do a very simple shake and drop. Now, as you can see, we got a bunch of numbers, bunch of letters. Okay, the numbers equal victory points. And if you get a matching set of 3, you get that many any extra points. If I roll again, you see we got hearts. And if we roll a third time, okay, we get an attack. So basically, here's what happened. Since I am in Tokyo and not outside of Tokyo, I cannot heal these, or I cannot heal. So holding on to hearts while you're inside of Tokyo is worthless. You basically want anything else. The little lightning bolts are energies, and the little paws are attacks. And because I rolled 3 of these, I get 2 victory points added on. I'm going to fish that out because the little one is actively fighting me right now. 2 victory points. And since I rolled these 2 paws, that means I do 2 damage to every creature outside of Tokyo. So, as you can see, there's definitely an advantage to being inside of Tokyo. The big disadvantage is you cannot heal. So, you can decide, if it's on someone else's turn, if they do damage to you, that you can actually move out of Tokyo. And then the other person has a choice of moving in or staying out. Now keep in mind, you can't attack creatures. So basically, it's a very boring game if everyone stays in. Normal rule of thumb is that whoever's turn it is, if that creature ends up being yielded to Tokyo, then if I were to move out and got it, let's say it was the next person's turn and then they attacked. I took the damage, I yielded Tokyo to leave, and that creature would now be in. It really depends on how you want to play the rules as far as how you want to operate that, but I'm pretty sure that once the creature yields Tokyo, the last creature on the outside that turn belonged to, now it has to come in. But just remember, once you're inside, you cannot heal. So, moving on. if I were to roll that, for instance, that means that I would get 2 victory points plus an additional 1. So if I were to roll like all 2s, which is next to impossible, then I would get 2, 3, 4, 5 victory points in 1 turn. Remember, the goal is to get to 20. The goal is also to survive. So that's why I always tell everyone, you always want to play smart. That's why I always say implement the cards down here. Make sure you have a good arsenal, because there's some really decent ones in here. Just kind of going through them real quick. Like this right here, regeneration, you keep this card. It doesn't go anywhere. And whenever you heal, it allows you to heal an additional point of damage. Let's see. Jets, which is pretty awesome. As long as you have this card, if you yield Tokyo to another creature, like if they deal damage to you and you choose to yield, then you basically take no damage. So essentially how that works is if I were to have Jets along with my Mecha Dragon, if somebody were to attack me and I opted to yield out of Tokyo, I essentially take no damage. So that's why I say, always remember to keep these cards in handy, because it's 20 victory points a turn, 20 victory points to win the game. You could tell this is unscripted. 20 victory points to win the game. Tons of energy to earn. Like I said, that's all these little lightning bolts right down here. So remember, every turn you roll those lightning bolts, you get to store an energy that turn. Every time you roll hearts, if you're outside of Tokyo, you heal that much life. You got the victory points, as I just said, but also very, very, very careful to consider. If you are outside of Tokyo, if there's another person it's on their turn, and they roll, very simple roll, and one of those, because you have the option to roll 3 times, and you can keep as many as you'd like, but on the third roll, whatever you have to play. So, if you don't want to end up going into Tokyo, I would highly suggest that on your prior turn, if you do not have it, I would recommend leaving it at that, because you could automatically bring yourself in and be on the pecking order of everyone else on the outside. So as you can see, it is a very simple game. The dice are the only real confusing part, but other than that, it's a ton of fun. And if you can get a copy of it, I highly recommend it. So as you can see, this game, while a little complex when it comes to how you want to strategically plan out your moves, I can't emphasize enough exactly just how much fun this game is. The more the merrier, and again, like, it might take a little while to understand, again, how to pool your reserves for energy, calculating how many victory points you've gotten. But ultimately, it's all about every turn. It's just this giant monster fight. And that's really what the best thing about this is. It's so silly in comparison. It takes itself on such a serious high note, but it's so goofy and fun and very innocent. And that's what I love about this game. So, I recommend if you can find it relatively cheap, go for it. Last I saw at Target, it still goes about $30 or $40. And I'd say it's up there as far as Catan. Catan, something I'd say is, if you're a very serious board gamer, then this is and that's one for you. This I'm very much, and I'm inclined to say the exact same thing. 1 second. Say hi. She has been, even filming that, she has just been, like, constantly, like, hanging on my leg. Yeah, you do. But yeah, King of Tokyo is an amazingly fun game. It's different every single time you play. There are ways to make the game a little bit more interesting. As I said, the whole yielding to Tokyo rule, you don't necessarily have to yield Tokyo every single time you get hit. But usually the rule of thumb is that once you yield Tokyo to on that person's turn, then usually that's the monster that goes in next. If you don't want to do it that way, then usually how the game functions is who can roll dice in their favor. And that gets kind of boring. So I recommend doing it this way if you can. As far as future Bumble Breaks It Down videos, if there's anything really anyone wants me to do, I will do my damnedest to try. Board games are just simple, and I think they deserve a lot more love than what they, than all the craziness that their video gaming counterparts get. The little bumblet. Wow, you are loving that camera. She loves it so much so that it took me forever to get this video stuff done because she wanted to play with everything, didn't you? Didn't you? You're daddy's little kaiju, aren't you? But that's going to do it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoy. Let me know what you thought down below. If there's other board games you'd like me to cover, I could probably do that at another time. Just it depends on if I have it or not. But next time when I break it down, we're going to be doing something a little bit different and going to actually be heading outside for this one. So until next time, we'll see you later. Say bye. See you later.